As of this recording, the 2xKO beta has been out for less than a month. So you might be wondering, why are we making a tier list now? Well, it all comes down to the September patch notes that Riot put out. And in them, they put, we're not going to be changing core strategies. And we want time for players to find adequate counterplay before nerfing strategies significantly or changing the meta. Which means it looks like we're going to have this current balance for a bit of time. The other reason we're making this is that the community has kind of come to a consensus. Compared to a couple weeks ago, most people are putting the same characters at the top, same characters at the bottom, but there's not really good explanation of why each character is there. So I want to go over that. And the way I'm ranking these characters is based on overall competitive viability. Just because someone might not have synergy with most of the cast, if they are on a really strong team or on some of the best teams, then therefore they're very competitively viable and will be rated high. So we're looking at overall power levels here. Basically, which characters give you the highest chance to win and which characters are on the best teams. And we'll get right into it, starting with, in my opinion, the best character and probably the opinion of many other people. As to no one's surprise, Yasuo. Yes, this character is absolutely insane. It's really hard to name a thing this character cannot do. First of all, in my opinion, we have the best move in the game. Hasagi, 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 Hasagi. Stand this one. This thing is insane. So compared to, let's say, like a character's heavy, right? Like if you're going to use a heavy as a poke, 47 frames or 46 frames. This, 39 frames. So very, very fast, especially for the range that it goes to, right? This can be hit confirmed into a combo. So for example, you can hit confirm this into level 1, but that's not really where the true power is. The true power is behind an assist, right? This move is cancelable, which means I could do stuff like back off. I can do stuff like cancel into stance C. I can do stuff like dash up, go for a throw. Combine that with an assist, and again, most assists in the game work with this. I can do Hasagi and get a left right. Or I can use this for like additional pressure. You get the idea. So you may think the counterplay is to just jump over it, right? Of course you can't, maybe I'll try to jump on reaction. Well, if you're doing an assist, you tag that assist in and the assist can anti-air, right? So this is just very dominating in neutral. Not to mention it's 2 hits, so it just like invalidates Braum, funny enough. Why is this 2 hits? I have no clue. Don't even get me started about the character, right? It's also very useful in block strings because again, you can mix off of it. Not only does it frame trap, but you have some pretty good options after it, right? You can go for a hop. You can go for stance C again to frame trap. Obviously, this leads into a full combo with assist too. Something like, I don't know. I don't play Yasuo, but you get the idea, right? But this isn't it. This is just one aspect of this. If he just had this, the character would be good. This is better than most characters' neutrals, right? But he has so many other things in neutral that make him the best neutral character in the game by far. 1, jump S1. This move doesn't seem that good, except when you pair with assist and you get an instant cross up. And by the way, with the assist, you're plus, which means you get to go for a mix. And with something like 2x or freestyle, you get 50-50. Oh, you actually went into something really funny about this. I'm gonna try to block this, right? Oh, I think it's like here. Yeah. This move crosses up at like close range. So I'm holding back and I still get hit. Doesn't really impact that much because you mostly use it to neutral skip, but pretty funny. All right, wind wall, insane move that you can just kind of throw out, invalidate some characters. Again, we don't know how many zoners are going to be in the game, but if you're fighting Jinx, nothing that Jinx does can get through this, right? So yeah, you can just put this up and you're protected against all of Jinx's stuff. He also, for some reason, has the best 2H in the game. This thing is insane. The hitbox will explain everything. Look at this thing, bro. Here, all right, let's compare this to the Jinx. Jinx actually is pretty good too, but one, it doesn't hit behind, and I don't think it hits as high. Compared to Yasuo that hits really high, and it hits basically above him, right? So what I call like a mid-tier 2H. Very anemic. Does not hit above her, does not hit nearly as far. And this is a decent 2H, right? Don't even get me started. I don't even want to look at this, guys. I really don't even want to look at this. Don't even get me started about this move. Let's talk about all the ways this character can mix you. He has very good ways to mix you up. This 27 frame cross up. He stance dash that can either cross up or not cross up, depending on how long you hold forward for, right? He has fuzzy. He has a multi-hitting overhead. This thing is insanely cheap. It's probably his best mix option. So this hits overhead 3 times. So you can mix up between something like this into this, or this into that. True 50-50. For whatever reason, compared to some other overheads, like for example, Vi, here's Vi's jumping overhead, right? Super punishable. Yasuo, this thing is super hard to punish because it can come down with this cross up that for some reason is 21 frames, so it's very hard to punish. And this thing, while it's minus 26, you can stance cancel and back away. So even if you guess right on the overhead, the situation is not great for you. And this crosses up too, by the way. He also has one of the best throw games in the game. His jab is 6 frames and +1. Probably the best jab for pressure. He can also do jab jab. That's also +1. So he can do stuff like this. By the way, he's also one of the privileged characters that can get super after throw. He's also extremely privileged that he can get a quarter combo after throw without assist or anything. Oh yeah, and let's talk about this mix. Charge H forces them to stand block. I'm gonna put the dummy to crouch and only block low, right? Charge H, you can shoot block string. You can get a fuzzy. So anytime they block a charge H, which again, you can protect it for your assist, you get a 50-50. In the initial release of the closed beta, said Yasuo is a bit too honest when making the opponent block. Thank God we solved that one. So let's talk about the supposed weakness this character has, which is that his assist value is not great, right? So compared to like Illaoi, right? You can just do forward assist and it like hits right away. It's a 18 frame assist. Of course, it's not actually 18 frames. It's 18 frames after she comes out. Yasuo, assist is a lot slower, so it's harder to use in neutral. That being said, it's still actually a really great assist, right? Because you can do stuff like this and get a sandwich. All right, well, let's see how plus I am. And I'm still plus 16, which means I could do something like that, tag Yasuo, and do good mix, right? So you get free sandwich pressure. So actually, the assist in base use is actually pretty good. Now, a lot of people say like, oh, Vi assist is the best assist because it OTGs, right? You're thinking about this wrong. Yasuo is one of the best assists in the game because you can just tag him and then you get Yasuo on your team and he can OTG for you. All right, you get the idea. Yasuo's assist doesn't anti-air, right? Like it doesn't cover the air. I can just tag Yasuo and use one of the best anti-airs in the game. So I think his assist value is actually really good. Not to mention his last stand, which is your super assist, it's probably one of the best in the game. This thing is insanely fast, goes full screen, and for some reason grants you a crumple, so you can go up and get a combo. Not to mention you get a crap ton of damage after it too. So in my opinion, this is also the best last stand in the game. So even if he dies, you're still in a good spot. All right, so I tried really, really hard because I want to be fair, and I have been playing a little bit Yasuo on the side. I tried to figure out what weaknesses this character actually has. So his tag launch is actually not good. So when you tag launch into him, his situation is not that good. He can get something like this, but then there's still like your Oki is not great. You can't limit strike after, which is really strong. You can't do any additional bullshit. Now compare this to someone like Ekko, who again we're going to talk about pretty soon. So not only does he get a limit strike, again, limit strikes are very strong because you get additional meter, you get additional burst, but you also get install Oki that leads into a really messed up situation. And there's several other characters that also have very, very good post tag launchers. So unfortunately, Yasuo does not have the best combo enders. It usually ends in mid screen Oki and then let's again basic B and B. usually ends in something like this, and then it's kind of hard to like get a truly strong mix up here mid screen, right? So the best partners for Yasuo are ones that you can tag launcher into the partner, and then the partner does the actual good ender. Any other weaknesses you guys can think of? I tried my best. I tried my best to come up. If you guys want to downplay Yasuo in my chat, one of Yasuo's weaknesses, everyone knows how cheap he is, so they know the matchup. That's true. He has no standing overhead, I guess so. He has the worst game against retreating guard. 2M doesn't combo with his 5M like the rest of the cast, and 5H after 2M usually whiffs. That's impressive. Yeah, I guess those are all technically true. I don't think he has the worst against retreating guard because he does have this 3H that you can get a full combo off of. Compared to some characters like Vi that do not have a long-reaching low on a heavy. All right, I'm done. Next character, Ekko. All right, so first of all, we talked about the post-hit situation a little bit of Yasuo, right? Where the fact that like after any combo, whether it's after a tag launcher or not, he can go into Limit Strike. Limit Strike is very strong because it grants you burst and it grants you meter. And then you can activate this, and this clone super lets you teleport to the clone. And so you can do a lot of really messed up stuff with it, right? So for example, you could throw this and then block. We can whiff a grab, and then I can teleport again. So this lets you do what's called the burrito option select. But the idea of this shouts to Chris F, is that it beats all different types of options, right? So if they do a wake up attack, it beats the wake up attack because you just teleport through it. If they try the back roll, you automatically throw it. If they try the forward roll, you automatically throw it, which means your only option there is to sit there and block. You could try to parry this, right? But there's like ways to beat that, of course. And then once you're doing this, you can do stuff like overhead, and then teleport, and then you got a combo off the overhead, right? You get the idea. Crazy amount of pressure, crazy amount of mix-up. Some of the best Oki in the game. That's extremely accessible and off of a Limit Strike. In my opinion, he has the best knockdown sequencing in the game. But that's not all he has. We talked about his mix-up. His on-block pressure is actually really, really good too. So most obvious thing is he has an overhead. This is 22 frames. So compared to, let's say, the most overheads in the game, like Jinx, for example, this thing is 25 frames, 3 frames slower, which means it's a lot easier to react to. I know like 22 frames is like a Street Fighter 6 overhead, but for whatever reason, maybe it's just the startup being disguised or the input delay or something else, this is a lot harder to see. And if you just time your assist right, you get a combo that leads into the same situation, into, you know, the burrito Oki, right? He has other options, like probably the best charge move in the game. You guys are probably familiar with charge heavies. These things are really risky to go for at high level because a good player will just parry this on reaction, right? So even though you can get plus frames, you risk losing like all your health due to, not all your health, but like like losing the game off of just one charge heavy. The thing about Ekko is, yes, his is a little faster, but he can rewind before the actual hit comes out, so he can bait the parry and get a full punch. And so they're really scared to parry this move because of that, which means that you can do a bunch of mix-ups. This is -1, which seems kind of bad. So this is +5. So it's effectively plus. So once you condition them for that, you can go into overhead, use the clone to get a full combo off your overhead, and the situation repeats into Limit Strike into, you know, fun stuff, right? His neutral is also really good. He can throw Time Winder. This move is insane. This thing is basically a wall. You happen to run into it, you're in hit stun for like a second, Ekko can run up, get a full combo. You can also do on the ground, same idea. There's also a lot of permutations where you can like hit it and then use this as like a wall to get in. Very, very strong neutral. And like, he doesn't have the best approaching option, but he doesn't need it because you could just do this, throw the Time Winder out. Here's a sample sequence, right? All right, I used up my assist. I can throw Time Winder, wait it out, throw Time Winder. All right, now I have my assist back. I can go in, I can do mix and that sort of thing, right? So his neutral is really, really good for stalling. That's not all. He has the best assist in the game. I know that sounds kind of crazy. A lot of people complain about Jinx assist or Vi assist or Illaoi assist. I think he has the best assist in the game. This thing is lightning fast. You'll just like randomly be walking back in neutral and this assist will come out and it'll smack them. And because they're point blank, you get a full combo. You could, if you're playing 2x, my time, full screen, they're forced to block and you go into Ekko's pretty good block pressure. This is how you play, right? You run away. You just call random Ekko assist. My time.
It works like fucking clockwork, bro.
Into a full combo. Into the messed up Oki situation. Even at K7, how did this get 2K legs? This is me mauling over Ekko, bro. Here's a strategy. He just turtles with Vi, calls Ekko assist, my time. Oh, this shit is... And then you get messed up Oki. Why is Ekko full screen? Another crash I've had about, I think I crash out more about Ekko than any other character, so it almost makes me think that maybe Ekko's actually the best in the game. To me, Ekko and Yasuo are very, very, very close. Here's another bullshit thing he can do. He can rewind time, which means that if he does a get up attack, this is punishable, right? This is like minus a bunch on block. He rewinds the get up attack and gets a full combo. He can do stuff like, by the way, you can do parry, rewind it. So what are his weaknesses? I think his major weakness is he's not Yasuo. He doesn't have quite the neutral dominance that Yasuo has. He does have to, like, his neutral is a little bit more committal. Like if he wants to like start a block string, like you can argue that Ekko's mix, this is reactable, right? And if you can react to an overhead in this game, it means you can also parry an overhead in this game. So you could make the argument that if you're playing like against a super sweaty player, they parry this on reaction and you're gonna be in trouble. That being said, it's extremely hard to do and I've done it like once in my life. He's also forced to spend meter a lot, right? So it's pretty rare you get level 3 because again, every combo, in order to get like a lot of damage, you have to meter dump with this character. And in order to get Oki, you have to also use meter for the install, right? And on the install, you're not generating meter. So even though like I'm doing this combo, I'm not actually building any meter, right? Oh yeah, also low health. That is true. You do have low health as well. I think he is a little stubby. For example, if he wants to convert off this, that doesn't work. So you have to do like S1, or no, sorry. You have to do something like S2, S2 and the super, right? But yeah, he does have good normals. And you're just doing stuff like dash M. I think this dash M's actually really strong. It's just the conversion off of it, you have to spend meter. This character looks like he's actually stubbier than this. This normal is actually like pretty crazy. Yeah, 2M also very good. Yeah, look at this range. I take back the stubbiness. I'm just listening to Ekko down players too much. Okay, number 3 in the game. I think Jinx is slightly overrated, but there's one thing about her that's not slightly overrated. This thing is absolutely insane. This is what makes the character. If this character doesn't have shoot him if you got him tag, this character is not a top 3 character. But this in itself is really, really strong, especially in a meta where you're building so much meter and double down is so strong that being one of the best uses for meter in the game is really good. So I just do a very basic combo, go into kill enough time for tag launch, and then I get Jinx Oki. That's really good because you get this trap that like covers a lot of the different options, right? And that leads into a 2-touch situation. So being able to 2-touch off of a full screen super that, by the way, grants you a 50-50 on block, kind of insane. So even with someone like Vi, you can do stuff like this, time your dash correctly, and you get like a kind of like a cross-up mix-up here. And other characters like Yasuo or Ekko that pair of Jinx can do even better mix-up, right? Because they can do the overheads, they can do the fuzzy jump to heavies. And yes, yeah, you can still parry it, right? Parry is quite good against this. For example, some of the counter plays, you just mash the shit out of parry. And you get a lot of meter, but if the opponent's good, they'll do dash up into low, and you can't block a low and the mid at the same time because again, parry does not cover low. So you can only parry a little bit of the super, and then you're still forced to take a mix-up, but at least you get a little bit of meter, right? This is very versatile. So for example, you happen to burst. You can do shoot him if you got him. Tag. And oh, by the way, for some reason, this isn't parryable. Look at me mash and parry. I can't parry. Yeah, imagine bursting and being forced to take a 50-50. But she has some other good stuff about her, right? So like, again, if that gets nerfed, I don't think this character's top 3. I really think that's mostly where the strength of this character comes from. And so she's kind of locked in the double down, but she has some other good stuff that like still makes her pretty good. Probably the best advancing low in the game. This thing's insane, leads into a full combo, into tag launch, into whatever, right? She also, in my opinion, has the best tag option in the game. So what do I mean by that? We'll put the dummy to block. I can do tag, S1, S2. And this all, yeah. So while the character's out on screen, this is so much lockdown because you get 2 moves. And if you have the zap gun, you can also do the zap gun after and you get like 2 seconds of straight lockdown. Her back assist is really strong, right? So unlike some forward advancing assists, so let's take Yasuo, for example. Yasuo assist has the disadvantage of you can actually parry it on reaction, which gives you a blowback and then gives you a really messed up situation after. Like you parry Jinx assist, you're still forced to take pressure. You just recover a little faster, right? So I think her assist is really strong. She also does pretty well with 2x assist because you can throw a couple rockets. A couple other things really strong about her. Her up back game is really good because she can do something like down below, call assist, and then, you know, cover the assist with that, and then, you know, go into really messed up block pressure. Her runaway game is actually pretty good, not to mention you can mix up things with like falling rocket. That's also really strong. Her traps are good. Like they obviously set up like strike throw mix-ups. But against some characters like Yasuo, it can be really hard to get them out. But against the characters you can get the traps out, they're also really strong. And there's a lot of like cool things you can do with the traps. Like you can hit them and then like you get sequences that leave you plus crazy amount in their face. The other thing is her throw game is really good. So most characters after a throw, they get like super, or some characters just get nothing, right? She can get a full combo off of her throws. I'm bad at it, but if you do jump rocket, a super jump rocket into a falling rocket, and you get something like that, right? And for whatever reason, this super too is like really, really good. Just does so much damage. All right, this is again just a random Ahri combo I found on Twitter. Most characters can do this, right? Like, but again, the idea is Jinx with double down can do some pretty messed up things. So you can use this to set up the traps, get an extension, get a crazy extension, and now we can go into this this super here. When it sweet spots, it just does a crazy amount of damage. You just see Blitzcrank some of the most health in the game, and it just like deleted his health. So what are the weaknesses? Number 1 weakness in the game, win wall. Whether it's use assist or not, it really stops a lot of Jinx's kit, and Yasuo is a very relevant character in the meta. Let's put it that way. She's also not the best character solo, so Ekko and Yasuo are very good solo. If this character doesn't have assist, a lot of her tools become pretty not very strong, right? She doesn't have the best mix-up. She kind of relies on her partner for mix-up outside of this like pretty slow overhead. She needs a partner to like cover her back approach. She needs a partner to cover her traps. So solo, I think this character is actually not that great because she can get rushed down, and she's also like not the fastest mobility wise too. All right, Illaoi, I think number 4 character in the game. I actually thought Illaoi before today, I was actually gonna put Illaoi a slight tier below the top 3. But after reconsidering, it's actually finding out new tech with the character literally earlier today. I think that I actually, even though she's still number 4 on my list, I actually will put her up with Jinx and the rest of the cast. So the new tech that I found is, again, we talked about how strong limit strikes are because they grant you burst and meter, and both those things, especially burst, are really strong in this game. There's a new route found where you can actually get limit strike with Illaoi into the tentacle Oki, which means you're refunding part of your burst and your part of your meter for doing the same combo, right? So this made her more efficient, therefore she became slightly higher in my eyes. The main thing about Illaoi is off of any hit into tag launch, Illaoi has potentially, maybe besides Ekko, the best tag launch game in the game because she can do this, cover all techs, put them in a bunch of bullshit mix-ups. And the nice thing about this is that, like, let's say after a tag launch, my assist is on cooldown for 2 seconds, right? During these 2 seconds, the tentacles buy time for your assist to come back, and then you can do cool mix up right after the tentacles hit. So even if you like aren't necessarily getting the hit with the tentacles, they can lock down your opponent, wait for you to get your assist back, tag in a partner that does good mix, and they might be dead. Not to mention it does quite a bit of chip on block as well. So the situation of S2 Oki in the corner, I think is second only to Ekko. I think Ekko's Oki is probably better, but it's also harder to execute. Where Illaoi's is pretty straightforward. You just kind of throw it down and say time to guess asshole. She also has great assists. I do think Ekko assists are generally better because they cover more neutral, but she probably has the best lockdown assist in the game, especially with 2x, where she can do forward assist, back assist. And this thing is plus, let me just stand still, plus 38, but also there's like a slight gap in there, so you can do stuff like, you can like cross up and then cross up in between the gap and then they get hit. Not to mention just her forward assist twice is also really good because it spawns a couple tentacles. And like, let's say even if I don't get the hit, I can use these tentacles to stall for time to get my assist back out and then do another mix up, right? So her assist kit is really good. And she's really good at like stalling for time because these tentacles are just like if you have a tentacle out because her assist generates a tentacle, you can use these tentacles to just kind of stall for time to get your assist back to do a really good mix up. She also has some really slept on buttons. A lot of people complain about this button. To be fair, it's a really good button. It anti-airs, it goes pretty far. Illaoi just sticking her hand out actually goes further. This thing is crazy. This thing is an absolutely insane normal that gets you a full combo on hit. One of the best normals in the game, and it looks so innocent. It looks like such an innocent little button, but it's insanely good how far this goes and how quick the recovery is. Her combo game in general is just really good, right? Because this combo, like a lot of characters cannot take a character corner to corner. Illaoi can. Like if you combine like your actual combo corner carry and the post knockdown situation and the damage you get, she actually might be one of the best, if not the best in class in game. But she also has some decent block pressure and some decent buttons to also compensate. Not to mention she can always end in Super 1, and Super 1 does a lot of damage. Her strike throw is also quite good too, because anytime you have a tentacle on screen, the tentacle will respawn and you get a combo after the tentacle that also leads into this Oki as well, right? So strike throw game also really good. So what's her weaknesses then, right? I think first of all, she's obviously pretty slow. So I think solo, she does struggle quite a bit. She doesn't have anything that can just like skip neutral or like be very low committal. She doesn't have Echo Time Winders. She doesn't have full screen stab. She doesn't have Jinx rockets, right? She kind of just has to, she's a brawler, right? She has to go in. And when you go in, you take risk, right? Even if you do have quite good buttons to cover things up. Her mix-up besides strike throw is not the best. So she has an overhead. It's 26 frames. Quite reactable. She has a command grab, but this thing's 40 frames. Is very, very slow. So her mix-up's not great. She's more of just like, she's gonna block string you. But she can't even, like, her basic block strings aren't even that good if you don't have a tentacle out. She can like, she's good at like catching retreating guard and good at like staggering. This is -4 by the way, so you can like do stuff like this. Like just try to catch them to catch a button, but she doesn't have like canned overheads like Ekko or like really good charge moves or like stance cancel pressure, that sort of thing. She just kind of has to like, she's a lot more streamlined in her block strings if she doesn't have a tentacle out already. And anytime you do get the tentacle out, like something like this, it's minus and the opponent can just run away or hit the tentacle, take their turn, etc. Right? So getting the tentacle out when you don't have a tentacle is pretty hard. I think she has the worst last stand in the game. A lot of the last stands that you think of, like for example, like Jinx last stand throws a bunch of rockets and helps you get in, helps you do a mix up. The opponent just runs away from this, right? There's not like, there's no mix up. This assist does not let you skip neutral. It just kind of, it's like a win more assist. So like when you get the hit and then you can like throw this in the corner and then they have to like eat this block pressure, right? This is actually pretty good. But as a solo player, the issue is getting the hit in the first place. And usually you want something like a last stand that helps you do that. But that's it for Illaoi. Quite a good character. So this makes up our top 4. The thing about Jinx and Illaoi is like they feel more like supports. So while like I feel like most combinations of these 4 characters are very, very strong teams, I think Jinx Illaoi is the weakest by far of the teams. Like, it feels like you're just playing two support characters and no one to like truly dominate the field of play. All right, so let's talk about A tier. So Darius is weird because at low level, this character is extremely popular and extremely good. For example, we have this move is the #1 move scrub killer in the game. If you want to beat new players, all you have to do is spam this block string and just spam this kind of stuff, and Darius will dominate people. So in my opinion, he's the #1 noob killer. But then after you get past the noob killer stage, things look like they're falling off. So for example, you can parry this on reaction. So again, at 28 frames, this is an easy parry into death. Combined with the fact that in the previous Alpha Labs, this character was absolutely busted and was toned down, I think a lot of people dropped this character. But this character still has a lot of strengths. First of all, this overhead might be one of the best overheads in the game. It is so hard to see. Like, I know it's 25 frames, but it is just, it's so like indistinguishable for the rest of his kit. Like compared to Ekko, who just like hops off the ground right away. This thing is a lot harder to deal with, right? He has strong neutral. This button isn't absolutely insane. This is probably one of the best buttons in the game, in my opinion. He can do what's called apply bleed status. This bleed status is really, really strong. So this is forward S2 into S2 again. This is all a gapless string. You also just have some really, again, other really good buttons. S2 reaches really far. He has a follow up to S2 that's only 20 frames, so it's really, really hard to parry, and also applies bleed. Bleed is quite good in this game because it does a couple things. One, it forces stand. I say when you block some of these bleed moves, which means like you get fuzzies and that sort of thing. But also, the more important thing is it makes you take a bunch more chip. As you can see, like we're kind of just completely destroying his health on block. And he's just really well-rounded, right? He has one of the best reversals in the game in this down forward S2. This thing has armor, so like let's say they're going for something with a gap in it, like stamping in with the overhead. Don't have to guess, go into super. If you're playing double down, you can tack on even more damage, and now they took almost half health just from an invincible reversal. He also has just some like pretty decent buttons to throw out neutral. This pull-in plus assist, very hard up back move to deal with, right? This pull-in in a block string, yes, true, you can parry it, but if they're in block stun, they can't parry it, and you get a 50-50. Not to mention this, for some reason, disables defense options, so they can't even like push block you out during this move. He also has a really strong jump in this charged jump heavy. This thing goes insanely far, and if they're not ready, they just get clipped. He's just very well rounded. His assists are also really good. So this forward assist, wall bounces, grants you a bunch of block stun, and this back assist is really good for pressure because again, unlike some assists, you can like push block and that sort of thing, you can't push block this. Which means that you know they're going to be locked into place, they're not going to retreating guard, they're not going to push block. They're quite strong. Oh yes, and 3H. He has probably the best catching retreating guard option in the game. So one of the best catch retreating guard options in the game, that leads into a combo. So playing defense against this character, pretty hard actually. So what is this character missing? Like compared to like a character like Jinx, double down, beam super, shoot him if you got him, tag, double down, bullshit. Or Ekko with the best assist in the game and like really messed up Oki. Or Yasuo that can literally do everything. Or Illaoi that has tentacle super. He's lacking the bullshit. He's just very well rounded, but doesn't have like crazy lockdown situations that could put you in after the combo. He doesn't have any low commitment neutral. He just has like strong commitment neutral, right? All right, so let's talk about Ahri. And this is actually, I think Vi is actually pretty good too. But the reason I put Vi behind Ahri is that I think Ahri is the most downplayed character in the game. If you look at the results of this character, they're actually quite good. So this is TNS. This is the largest American tournament. Just happened yesterday. Very interesting. 3 Ahris in top 8. Yes, of course, we have the usual suspects like Yasuo, Illaoi, Ekko that are pretty popular. But the next character is Ahri. What about ranked? Ahri, number 3 character represented in Challenger. Let's look at some of these teams. Most common teams for America. Very interesting. The number 3 team has an Ahri. I think she has some of the best neutral in the game. She is extremely good at running away and stalling for assist. So again, how do you get in on this? Where she can air dash after? Quite hard. Her mobility is insane. You can condition them to whiff an anti-air, you go in, you can get a punch. So this is very, very good for killing time. And once you condition them to sit still, you can do stuff like this, call assist, and then go into the S2, which is insanely good for lockdown, and get your mix up. And if it doesn't work, you just disengage and do it all over again. So for example, I have a lockdown assist. Anytime I make you block a jump normal, the mix-up's actually really good because I can air dash. This air dash, very, very hard to react to. I think this is unreactable in my opinion. Or you can just go empty jump low. So she can set up a mix-up actually pretty well. She's also a very good limit strike abuser. After any combo, you can do this wall slump into S2, which lets you convert into this like little delayed projectile. So you get delayed projectile Oki after a limit strike, which is really good. That's better than the vast majority of characters get. Obviously, it's not as strong as Ekko. It's not as strong as Illaoi situation, but it's still some of the best in the game. And it's meterless, by the way, which also has its uses because this character is actually quite good with double down. Random Twitter clip posted today. Ahri Yasuo double down concept. Ram Ahri B&B. This Ahri super lasts so long, so they can set up whatever they want into another character. And by the way, he gets 2 supers here, you're dead. And like people say, oh, this character's mix up. Her biggest problem is she doesn't get anything off a throw. But again, this is a team game. You could just play someone that gets something off a throw. I don't know the combo, but you get the idea. So great neutral, great combo for conversions, great double down synergy. What's this character's weaknesses? Well, number one, I think is Yasuo. I literally have no clue how this character fights Yasuo. The whole point of this character is you be annoying, you fly away, and you do this. Yeah, Yasuo has moves like this that just launch you for a full combo. Her game plan does not work very well against the best character in the game. The other thing is I don't think her assists are the best, right? So this assist, for example, like let's say they block this. So a lot of assists, you get good pressure on block. If you do buy assist tag, like what do you do here? Like this is just a really awkward situation that doesn't get you much. Her assist is still pretty decent. Like back assist is really good because it pulls her. It pulls her back compared to like forward assists. So like doing stuff like jump back assist is actually really strong with her too. And the other complaint that I see everyone complain about with this character, they try to do Ahri combos like this, and then it whiffs, and then you die. But other than that, I think this character is actually slept on. I think she actually could be better than Darius too, but I think that's a little bit too high of a take for this video. I think overall she's just really well-rounded. She's just harder because of the consistency issues and her combos are quite difficult, and Yasuo kind of shuts her down really hard. All right, so Vi. I think this character is actually quite good too. I know like we're at number 7 on the tier list, but I don't mean to downplay Vi. I think she actually has a lot of strengths that are kind of slept on as well. In particular, she has a couple really good things going for her. One is she has really good corner carry. You see, the most basic bread and butter gets you to the corner. You don't even need electrics with this character. You can just do like the most basic combo, and they're in the corner, into tag launcher, into messed up situation, right? So compared to a lot of characters that go into tag launcher, they don't get quite the same corner carry, and you tag launch into the character that has really good Oki, and I think there's really good synergy there. Second thing, this move is absolutely cracked. Yasagi, pretty good move, not committal. This move, even further than Yasagi, only issue is that it's committal. You pair off the right assist, you can actually get a combo off of it, or you can get some really messed up block pressure, right? So like they block this, plus 25 in their face, which means you can do some pretty cool things. So S1, I think, is one of the strongest moves in the game. So she can take advantage of that in neutral. Sway, in particular, Sway step, very good for cross-ups, right? So you can do stuff like call Darius, Sway, that was a cross-up. So her like left-right game is actually some of the best in the game too. You can also call something like Jinx assist, call Jinx assist, cross-up, and now you get a full combo. So I think she actually has some of the best neutral skips in the game. And when she gets in, she's actually not that bad either. She doesn't, I think her block pressure is a little overrated, but what actually makes her cheap is this multi-hitting jab that kind of forward advances her. And so you can do a lot of good block pressure like this. And it leads into pretty good damage if you don't drop your combos. Her OTG is actually pretty good too. Some characters don't really need it. Jinx, for example, doesn't really need her OTG assist, but some characters really like having that assist to grant them combos. But again, I think some of the best OTGs are just tagging a character that can do the OTG themselves, like Yasuo. Just like Ahri, because this super has so much block stun, so much time, there's a lot of cool double down synergies with Vi as well. I think her tick grab is really good too. Again, like some characters like have trouble being retreating guard in the grab. She just naturally goes forward and gets some pretty good damage off of her grab, and that's essentially unreactable. So I think her strike throw game is actually pretty good as well. I think Vi has one of the best tag moves in the game too, which is this charge S1. So when you're out with Vi, you can just hold S1, do this charge S1. Now you're like plus a second in their face, and there's a lot of like really dirty stuff you can do with that. Does it force stand, by the way? If that forces stand, it's broke, but I don't think it forces stand. Oh, it does force stand. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. So force stand plus God knows how much. And it disables defensive options too. So very, very strong move, in my opinion, but you have to set it up with something that puts them in enough block stun. Vi also has the best reversals in the game. I don't know how I forgot to mention that. I said Darius has one of the best. Vi's are the best. Yeah, so she has 2 reversals. One is this parry, and the parry is like actually kind of nice. I think the parry is better because, for example, it beats multi-hitting attacks. So for example, if you do this against Darius, he just dies because this activates no matter what. You can get a combo. The combo's not amazing, but it's still pretty decent, right? And you can choose what side they end up on too, which is also pretty good. That's pretty nice, but also you have super as well, which catches a lot more than you think. So between those two things, you actually have pretty good options. Not to mention the super is actually really obnoxious in the right double down combination. If you can't parry this, they can just like safely DHC tag, and you can be very, very obnoxious if they aren't really good on their meter management. Like you could actually mash this in block stun. Now I think about it. The issue is, I guess it's just weak to parry, right? So like you could do stuff like, but then that's just a free parry if they have meter. It's extremely cheap if they do not have meter, the parry, which is sometimes common. All right, a couple weaknesses in this game. She's really good on the ground. Obviously, she's really fast. She has a bunch of ways to bypass with assist. But if she doesn't have assist, she's a little weak, I think. She also, her air game is probably some of the worst in the game. She doesn't have like her air specials are like pretty bad for altering her jump momentum. Not to mention like this is pretty unsafe and you're gonna get anti-aired anyways. So not the best air specials for like getting around stuff. Any of her cross up is like it's pretty good, but it's not nearly as good as other characters' crossups because you don't get block pressure. And this thing is like pretty committal because it only puts you in like one trajectory. She's also really good at stopping air approaches because she has the worst 2H in the game. Yes, it works, but sometimes it just whiffs and then you die. She does have S2 to be fair, but your reward off it's not nearly as good. You could technically do something like this. Pretty cool. But it's not nearly as ideal as like a character that can 2H and get block pressure and jail you, right? I think she is one of the weakest characters against push block. Because if you go into sway, or you go into some of her higher commitment things, it's just a free punch. I just whiff and I die. I don't think this character is very good against push block. You would think a forward advancing move would be really good at catching it, but it's very inconsistent. You gotta do stuff like this and pressure that, but that's kind of parry bait or mash bait, that sort of thing. Her high low is also not that good. Again, she has a 25 frame overhead. This is pretty telegraphed. So the real high low she has to go for is set up after jump, where she does this like jump delay S1 or a 2L, which is just a lot harder to set up, and this is obviously very unsafe too. And you need the right assist. You basically have to like sequence around it just to get 150-50, where some characters can get like 250-50s. And I think also this assist not that great compared to like some of the better forward advancing, like even compared to like Yasuo assist, right? This is slower and it doesn't side swap. But because of her strengths, I still think she's pretty decent. And that's why these 3 characters here, I feel they're in the same tier. But because I'm still maining Vi at this moment, I gotta downplay a little bit. I'm contractually obligated to downplay vibe, but I think you can make the argument for this too. But where they're actually in, I'm not sure. All right, so we got the last two characters, Blitz and Braum. So Blitz has a few things going for him. His combo game is actually some of the best in class. They're in the corner. They took almost 500 damage, and it's a restand. He also has a very good post-tag launcher situation. His tag launcher ender, actually really good. This does a lot of damage, grants you full steam, and you can just command grab the rolls on reactions, so they're forced to take a 50-50. And that 50-50 with assist usually leads into death. I think this assist is not overrated at all. I think this assist is very strong. This is his restand assist. So the idea is that if I do any combo, I end in the restand assist, it pulls them back, and then I could do a mix-up. Again, I don't play this team, but pretend I did a full combo. I could do something like this, and then I could go for a command grab. You can get like pseudo unblockables where like... All right, so let's take an example combo with Vi, end in the OTG. Oh my God, I missed the easy part of the combo. Like you get stuff like that, right? So it's like pseudo unblockable. So like if they try to jump, then they can get hit by the lightning if they don't block the right way. If they block the right way, you're still safe. They can't punish the command grab. So there's some like really cool setups you can do with the restand. It's actually quite good. This pull and hook is actually, I think this move is good for neutral. I don't think his neutral is amazing, but probably the best thing about his neutral is he does have this hook. It's very committal because if they jump, you die. But on block, you get 50-50 between just doing stand jab, which catches jump, it catches mash, or doing the command grab. And if you have the right team, this command grab leads into a lot of damage. You can still do something like that and get some damage. Yeah. And it's not even that, you think like, oh, they can just parry this on reaction. But the thing is, the startup of this looks very similar to the startup of parry. So parrying this isn't even a stable strat either. So you have to be really careful about dealing with hook and neutral. All right, so let's talk about weaknesses. This forward assist, not that good. The reason I don't think it's that good is because you can retreating guard it on reaction. So you can just block it and then retreating guard, and then you're out for free. Which, yes, you can technically catch it with the right character. Like Jinx, for example, is pretty good at catching because you can do a run up really far low. Darius, for example. But again, a lot of the cast can't really synergize with this very well because they don't have a good way of catching retreating guard. This character in the back feels like a win more character, right? He doesn't really help your character win neutral that much. He just, when you get the actual hit, he helps you win it. He doesn't have a high-low mix. The issue with command grab mix in this game compared to high-low mix is, let's say I'm doing high-low mix and I guess wrong. I just call assist, I just tag, and then, you know, I get to continue my block pressure, and then I potentially get another mix-up. With command grabs, you can't do that. You whiff your command grab, you're dead. There's no command grab tag in this game. There used to be in the old builds, and command grabs used to be really strong. Now command grabs are very weak because it's almost like all or nothing. In a game where people could do very, very safe mix-up and guaranteed 50-50s that are safe and lead into additional pressure, the mix-up you have with Blitzcrank is very committal. And if you miss, you're dead. So in general, I think command grab characters are just weak because of this, because the only way you can mix someone up is by taking a huge risk in a game where no one needs to take risk in order to mix you up. And I think his neutral outside of this is really bad, right? Like, yes, he has a good jump in normal, but like people can just anti-iron reaction. This is his air stall, but it just loses the Yasuo's 2H anyways. So you're just kind of like doing this. You don't even have good buttons to swing around. Like, this is okay. Looks like it goes a lot further than it does, and it's kind of committal because it moves him forward. So I don't like this character's neutral, though he does have like some decent mobility, and you can like kind of stall for steam. So overall, bad neutral, not the safest mix-up. I think holds him back. All right, Braum, worst character in the game, in my opinion. I debated because I think the best Braum team, I think the best Blitzcrank team is Yasuo Blitzcrank, because Blitzcrank solves Yasuo's biggest problem because his Oki's not that great, right? I actually think the best Braum team, Braum Ekko, is actually a better team than Yasuo Blitzcrank. The best thing by far about Braum is this shield. This is back S2. This thing has infinite hits of armor. Let's just say, well, we record doing the shield into assist. Shield into assist extremely strong because if I try to hit the shield, I just get my timed and now I die, right? And then it goes, that leads into a full Ekko combo into Burrito OS and that sort of thing. So you can abuse that with this team. That being said, it's very one-dimensional, right? What do you do if this doesn't connect? I mean, you could tag, you could stall for time, right? But this is basically just abusing Ekko's strength as a character, not really Braum, right? And you're just kind of relying on Ekko being really strong, which means when this character does not have Ekko or does not have an assist, this character is basically helpless. This character is the worst by far in the game without an assist. Because unlike Blitzcrank, that at least has the hook and like decent mobility, this character, slowest in the game, at least feels the slowest in the game. I don't know. Blitz is also kind of slow. And doesn't have anything full screen you can throw in with outside of a Poro, I guess. You know, obviously it's very slow, very reactable. Like, it's not a very consistent tool. Buttons aren't amazing. Compared to other characters, you have a lot more recovery, but not that much more range. So these feel very committal to throw out. Jumping game, not that great either. You have stuff like Door. I mean, I guess this is okay, but again, these are all getting anti-aired by Yasuo 2H. Yeah, you also don't... I think his 2H is okay. I think people say this 2H is bad. I don't think it's actually that bad because it does hit behind. That's kind of cheap. Yasuo 2H isn't even hitting there. But it is kind of slow. So like sometimes they just block and then you can parry the S1. His forward assist is also really good. Right, you see it just deletes the fireball, which means that against a character like Jinx that's pretty strong, Braum's actually a pretty decent pick against her, right? Obviously you get a full combo, and even on block you can still do command grab mix-up. This is another command grab issue, has the same issue we talked about with Blitzcrank, which, you know, high-low mix is generally stronger. The other thing I think is really good about this team, or just Braum in general, is that any hit leads into Unbreakable. And the Unbreakable situation in the corner, so let's say I just do a normal Jinx B&B. And then I end in Braum. Now I have Unbreakable, which grants them a hit of armor, and they're in the corner. The situation is very, very strong for Braum. So he's another one of these characters that if you get the hit, he puts you in a pretty messed up situation. Because you could do... Again, these all have armor, so you can just kind of stagger them, look for the jump out, and the armor is really nice against most characters because you'll just beat their button like that. So where is this character struggle? All right, cool. I got Unbreakable. I would love to hit Yasuo out of his single sword stab. So obviously he has the Yasuo issue, just like a lot of other characters in the game. But his Yasuo issue is even worse. But it does do really well against some characters. Rely on command grab. His air game's not the best. His win condition I don't think is as strong as other characters. Yes, like getting Unbreakable in the corner is good. Don't get me wrong. But there's not like a reliable way to 50-50. You kind of just have to stall for assist and then use your assist to do the mix-up. There's so many ways. You can jump out, you can run up throw, you can do something multi-hitting like Yasuo. So his win condition is not nearly as strong as like a Illaoi win condition, Ekko win condition, or some of these other characters that end in limit strike and do really good mix. I also think this shield assist is like really bad. I think it's one of the worst assists in the game. It does have some use, like you could shield like some fireballs on reaction. It's good against push block. Outside of this, plus call assist, like once your assist is on cooldown, and let's say you don't get a mix-up off of it, you don't tag your character, what do you do for these 3 seconds? You're just getting rushed down. Like you don't have the mobility to avoid stuff. You kind of just have to sit there and like pray your opponent can't do a good mix. All right, so that's the tier list. This is what we got. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I will say team-wise, if you guys want me to do a team tier list, that's gonna have to be like next month or something. There's still a lot we're learning. Right now, I think the best team in the game is Yasuo, Ekko, Freestyle. I think it's quite strong as the best 2 characters in the game on the same team, so I think it kind of makes sense. But I think Yasuo Jinx and Ekko Jinx are contenders for that top spot as well. Yasuo Illaoi, I think synergizes really well. Like by far, in my opinion, the best 4 teams in the game. And then it's certain things like teams with good synergy, like Ekko Illaoi, Yasuo Ahri, Vi Jinx, etc., etc. Maybe we'll do a team tier list later down the road. If you want to see that, let me know. Let me you guys think down in the comments below. Am I downplaying Vi too much? Maybe. We'll see. See you in the next one. Peace.